In a major key, there are 3 major chords that are available to you. For example, in the key of G major, these are 1, G major, 4, C major, and 5, D major. What if I told you we can expand our set of 3 major chords to 9 without using any new or complex chord types? This is where major chord inversions come in. We created our chords with 3 notes each from the major scale. The first note in each chord is what gives the chord its letter. The other notes in the major chord are the 3rd and 5th. For example, G major had the notes G, B, and D. Its first note is G. This is also called the root note or bass note. It is played as the lowest note in the chord and may be played by the bass player in a band to signify the chord. If you change which of the 3 notes in the chord are played at the lowest pitch, then you create a chord inversion. If we play the 3rd note of the major chord as the lowest note, then we create a first inversion chord. So if we play the B note as the lowest note in our G major chord, then we create a G major first inversion chord. The order of the other 2 notes above this do not matter. It's the lowest note that counts. Playing the 5th note of the major chord as the lowest note creates a second inversion chord. Therefore, playing the D note as the lowest note in the G major chord creates a G major second inversion. Again, the order of the other 2 notes above this do not matter. You may see inverted chords written a few different ways in notation. One way is where a small I is written before the chord's Roman numeral. This is for a first inversion. The second inversion uses 2 small i's. Another way is by using a small 6 or a 6 and 4 after the Roman numeral. The 6 is a first inversion and the 6 and 4 is a second inversion. Finally, you may see a slash used. The letter before the slash is the chord and the letter after the slash is the bass note being played. Inversions are useful because they bring a different character to the major chords. Placing the emphasis on a different bass note allows them to be used in many ways by a songwriter. First inversions have a sense of movement, propelling a progression forward compared to the root chord. Placing the 3rd note in the bass makes the chord want to rise or fall to the next chord, making it useful in descending or ascending progressions. Here's an example of using the first inversion. Listen to the difference it brings compared to the standard root chord. Second inversions are not as assertive as a root chord, but also not as mobile as the first inversion. They work well in intros and bridges to bring a different, less confident sound. Listen to them at work in this example. The second inversion 1 chord is often used to delay and then lead to the 5 chord because they share the same bass note. For example, want more major keys to try out? 7 easy songwriting keys are available to make your chord progression writing a breeze. Don't waste any more time searching. Go to majorkeychords.com now and download your free guide today. Link is also in the description. In a previous video, I made 3 versions of a song using only the major 1, 4 and 5 chords in the key of G major. There will be a link to a playlist with that video at the end of this one, so stay tuned for that. Let's use some chord inversions to make the next revision to our song. We'll discuss the changes after having a listen to it. Pay particular attention to the inversions. We use the second inversion 5 chord for 3 bars of the intro to increase the impact of the 5 chord in bar 4. It also adds some variation rather than 4 bars of the same sound. The first inversion 1 chord in the verse breaks up 2 bars of the 1 chord and also steps us up to the 4 chord, creating some movement. In the second half of the verse we use inversions to break up the repeated 4 and 5 chords. They also create a rising bass line which lasts 4 bars and leads us up to the 1 chord at the start of the chorus. This adds a strong feeling of anticipation for the chorus to come. We use a second inversion 5 chord at the end of the chorus to act as a step down to the 1 chord as the chorus repeats. In the bridge we create a descending bass line using inversions on the 4 and 5 chords. At the end of the bridge we use the second inversion 1 chord to delay the 5 chord. I hope you can see from the song example how useful inversions can be for breaking up a song, creating new interest and movement, and withholding certain chords for key moments in the song. It's easy to forget that we are still only using 3 major chords. You've learnt about major chord inversions, but this doesn't mean you'll be able to write an entire song. This can be solved very easily with the playlist on screen. Make sure you watch that next to become a songwriting master.